So this is the way you can kind of go all the way to, I don't want to go through my portal and I just want to search for what's here. It's, when you go to that wheel, you're not going to have all of these options anyway because Tom's an administrator, so he has more. One of the few that you have is assets. So assets means all the stuff that's in this system. And as you can see, there's 592 of them already. But there's a nice search function, and so like if you just type, say just type obligation, or SIP for that matter. That's fine though, just do obligation. So now you're down to 104, it's still quite a bit. But you see how like each thing has a different kind of symbol next to it? Some of those are stories, some of those are data sets. If you go over to asset types and say choose data set, because you just want to look at underlying data, then you can see some of the data with the word obligation in it is basically what it comes down to, right? So fifth obligation is the one that we were just looking at. And go ahead and click on that just so they can see the underline. So when you first click, it kind of comes up with just metadata. That just means like overall data about it. So there's been 208 views, 41 downloads. If you go on down, there's columns in this data set, so it tells you some of the information that might be there, and then a description of those columns. So this is one place that you can look. There's another place, the data dictionary, but this is one place that you can kind of look in. It will tell you what, you know, because you look at that name and you're like, what's that? But if you look there, it kind of gives you a little more description. And some of these are calculated fields, so it will actually tell you how it was calculated. If you want to see them all, see how it says show all 64. Then you see all 64 columns of that data set. I just want to make sure I'm not going too far over here. And then if you say view data, you can do it down there, or at the top it also gives that. It takes you to just a table of this data. So this is just an ugly table view. But if you look at that find in this data set at the top, why don't you just type Highway DB? It pulls out all the projects that are from Highway DB. So it's a little easier than it looks when you just look at it, even when you're going to the data set. I actually go to these data sets quite a bit. But what I usually do is I go to here and then I say create a view, and then from there I'll be filtering it down or maybe making some of those data lenses or something like that. So this is kind of my starting point when I start to make things just for me. Like I want something that shows just my projects or something like that, and we'll go into that in a second. So that's kind of how you use that asset thing. I've noticed a lot of times the naming may or may not make sense, but like if you type HIAC, you'll get HIAC stuff. Yeah. If, you know, STIP stuff all has STIP in there. PSS tables sometimes have PSS, sometimes don't. But they do go, like we have a design project table, that's from PSS, a construction project table. We have just a PSS table, which is all of them kind of in one huge thing. So there's all of that. I mean, we have bridge data sets in here. I think that was, if you go back to the design homepage, I think it goes straight to the design. Oh. Okay. The bridge